Yeah, I'm ready for the next question.
Okay, so one thing that we hear so much about is concerns with video gaming in schools, particularly around violent video games, addiction, distraction. And so there's a lot of critique around that as well. And you mentioned at the beginning the positivity about it. How do you answer the critique or the critiques who basically are talking about it from a negative perspective?
Yeah, so thank you for that. I think that there's a lot in the media about that sort of demonizes video gaming, and most of what you see in the media demonizing video gaming is not research or data based. It's just people's opinions or their sort of, it's my intuition that this is what's happening, or it's my gut feeling that something like that is going on. And so we don't really get a lot of, I think, real data about this, in fact. So in general, when people ask me about what are you, aren't you concerned about addiction? I say, well, not if a child's life is relatively well balanced. So that's something that goes beyond what's happening in the video gaming itself. It becomes a family kind of issue. So it is something that's real. We should be aware of it. When we're in schools and we're using video games, we should be sure that we're on the lookout for addictive behaviors and that we are helping that child become a full, whole, well-rounded person by encouraging them to engage in other kinds of related activities that might be of interest to them. Reading about video games, going to the library to play with the computer, thinking about learning how to code, things that may be of interest to them that take them a little bit beyond just being a consumer of the video game, for instance. So there are concerns about the addiction. We have to pay attention to that. I think the question about video game violence is one that has been really vastly misunderstood. There's a wonderful textbook or book called Misreading Masculinity that I would highly recommend. Understanding that that violent, especially fantasy life, is a completely normal part of development for most young men, is something that I think is not always remembered by folks who are older and often not understood by people who are women. So I think it's really important to understand that violence within the context of the development of the individual. And I think oftentimes we overlook that. So for me, I think that what's interesting is that in schools, when we talk about violent video gaming, there's an immediate pushback that we really shouldn't be allowing this in the school because it's violent. And Minecraft is perhaps one of the most easy targets in terms of this. Everybody loves Minecraft, but Minecraft EDU is not fun. And the reason why is because they eliminated the zombie pigs and sheep. Now we're talking about Lego block level of animation. But they didn't want zombies in there. And there was a big feeling among parents that we don't want to talk about what zombies mean. We don't want to have to address the religious overtones or non-overtones of zombieism. And it was just sort of taken to a degree that misses sort of the point of what's fun about the game in many ways. So if you ask kids, do they prefer to be playing an off-the-shelf video game, or do they prefer to be playing an educational game, they'll choose the off-the-shelf game every time, every single time. So human motivation being what it is, we need to pay attention to that and understand that for many, especially young men, the introduction of video gaming represents an important cultural moment, articulation moment in schools. So I don't know that that completely answers the question, but it's a good start anyway.
No, thank you. Very, very useful.